So good afternoon. At this point, I want us to analyze how you're supposed to revise for the Kcse month exam and the structure of the exam. We want to look at the structure of the exam, how it looks like. So in Kcse month, just some of the strategies that you need to have to remember as you prepare for this exam is that one of the main things which affects students in mathematics is attitude. Students normally develop a negative attitude. They start thinking that mathematics is hard, something which is not true. Actually, it is a myth. And that can be seen because every year when Kcse is done, the subject which scores the highest number of A's, straight A's, is mathematics. However, if you are not careful, you can even score 0 in mathematics because this requires knowledge. You must have the contents. For the record, in the last 2, 3, or 5 years, a straight A in mathematics has been starting from 70%. So in this video, I want to discuss with you as you prepare for your exam, how to get this 70%. There are some areas in mathematics which you know that they will definitely be tested in the exam, and therefore you can prepare. You can prepare very well in order to get that. If you miss a 70, you cannot miss to score A minus, which in the last year's exam was from 65. A B plus was starting from 60, and then a B was starting from 55 marks. You can see the pattern. A B minus was from 50 marks or thereabouts, and then anyone below 50 would score a C plus and such. Just for your information, a E was starting from 11%. It's very hard to score an 11% because you can always predict the exam in the Kcse exam. So some of the key topics in paper 1 which are normally tested, this time I'm going to analyze starting with Form 4 topics, Form 3, and then Form 1 and 2. This paper is mainly based from Form 1 and 2 work. However, we have one or two topics in Form 4, and then we also have one topic in Form 3, one or two topics in Form 3. So the topics in Form 4 which can be tested, I'm going to focus on the 10 marks topics which are tested in Section B. Remember, in Section B, you'll have 8 questions from which you'll select your best 5. When you are choosing the best 5, these 5 questions should give you at least 50 marks, so that you can also answer for the other marks, the other 20 marks from Section A. So, which are the key topics in Paper 1 in Form 4? One of the topics in Form 4 Paper 1, which has been tested in the last 10 years, it never misses in the exam, is differentiation. Which areas are tested in differentiation? One of them is how to differentiate, that is finding dy dx, finding the equation of a tangent, and the equation of a normal. The other one is the stationary points, which you differentiate and then you find the stationary points. The other thing which can be tested in the 10 marks question from differentiation is finding or sketching the curve sketching, and finally we are finding the maxima and the minima in this topic. So this topic is very common in Paper 1 Form 4 work. And the concepts mainly discussed here are differentiation, equation of a tangent, equation of a normal, stationary points, and maxima and minima. The other topic in Form 4 which can be tested in Paper 1 is area approximation. Area approximation has mainly 2 concepts. That is the trapezium rule, or the trapezoidal rule, and the other concept is the mean-ordinate rule. So these are the only 2 topics from Form 4 which will be tested in Paper 1. In Form 3, we have these 2 topics which can also be tested in Paper 1, and one of them is the matrices. Matrices in Form 3 which involves solving simultaneous equations using matrices. The other topic in Form 3, which will be tested at 10 marks question, is the sine and cosine rule, which is from trigonometry. These are the two areas in Form 3 which could be tested in Paper 1. Paper 1, remember, it is mainly Form 1 and Form 2 work, but these topics can be tested therein. So, where the much concentration of Paper 1 is in Form 2 work, and the topics which are always tested in Form 2, they have never missed in Kcse exam. One of them is statistics. Statistics 1. The other topic is measurement. Measurement involves finding the area, finding the volume, finding the capacity and density for different figures such as the cone, the pyramid, the frustum, the sphere, hemisphere, among others. Also the cylinders, among others. So this is a very wide topic. It never misses in the exam. Last year it was tested where we had a cuboid with a pyramid on top of it. Statistics was also tested, finding the mean, mode, drawing the histogram and the frequency polygon. The other area which was tested in 2025 is matrices. It was tested in 2025, and differentiation. That is the two topics were also tested. Another very key topic in Form 2 is the transformations. Transformations was tested in Kcse last year also, and it has always been tested because this is a very wide area. These are what we call the giant topics. What we are discussing here are what we call the giant topics in mathematics. The giant topics are topics like transformation. It carries reflection, rotation, translation, congruence, and also enlargement. We also have another area which is very common, that is the equation of a straight line. Equation of a line is also a very common area in Paper 1. We also have the linear motion. We also have the Form 1 topics which are also common here, such as the bearings and distances. A topic you should be very careful with because you need to be perfect for you to score in bearings and distances. We also have commission and also percentage, increase and decrease, which are also very common. Rate ratio, proportion and percentages is also a very common topic in section B of Paper 1. So as a student, what are you supposed to do? In these areas which you have analyzed here, make sure that you have at least 7 or 8 areas which you are very perfect in, so that you can be able to choose 5 questions from this area and score 10 marks in each. And then in section A, you should also be able to score good marks in section A.